you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So welcome to the show. My name is Aryan Fazeli. I'm the founder of Ketovation and K Nutri. Today I have a really special host with me, Elena. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and just give us a little bit of background?
Hi guys, my name is Elena. I'm known as the Stair Lady on Instagram, and mainly because I don't install them myself, but I have a stair remodeling business, and I also supply nationwide for stair parts. So obviously, I'm on this show because I've lost a whole ton of weight,
Yeah.
and it was through keto. So a lot of people are very skeptical about it, as I was too in the beginning. But I've learned to find out that it's actually a very sustainable way of eating.
Yeah, that's awesome. Your transformation is unbelievable. Can you just tell everyone kind of how much weight you lost and what kind of time frame that was in?
I lost 100 pounds in 1 year.
Wow.
It's been it's been about a year and 5 months since I started keto, and all in all, I've lost about 101 pounds. So just one more pound after
Yeah.
my 1 year mark. But a lot has happened since after my 1 year mark. I started weightlifting. There's other things that I started doing, which tends to mess with your weight with the number on the scale. But in sizes, I actually went down another size after my 100-pound loss.
Yeah,
So I'm very excited about it.
I'm really glad you said that because I know and I've seen you on Instagram. You do kickboxing, you lift weights. I wouldn't want to mess with you. You look like you could kick someone's butt, but it's awesome that you're doing all that. I'm sure that some of it has to do with your weight loss journey, but a lot of it has to do with just the fact that you're devoted to getting healthier.
Mhm.
And going back to talking about the number on the scale, I think a lot of people, especially women, based on hormonal things, they see the number on the scale go up and they tend to get discouraged. So how is that for you when, say, 1 week you might have weighed a little bit more and you might have exercised a bit more? How did you kind of manage your own expectations for your journey?
I used to weigh in like religiously.
Hmm.
And then I started freaking out about it, and I didn't think it was such a healthy thing for me to do. So I cut it back to like weighing only like every Friday. And then I try to cut it back to every 2 weeks and then like every month. So it's like almost like a present to myself where I set, like a goal at the end of the month and like let's just try to hit this goal and see how it goes. So that way I'm forced to be good that whole month because
Yeah.
I know that when I step on that scale, it better be, like something at least the same or less.
Yeah.
Obviously in the beginning it was like down, 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 down. But I would hit plateaus as well, like anybody else. I still don't like to step on the scale often. I know like a couple of weeks ago I went to California to see my brother, and I didn't eat bad, but I didn't eat keto because I was eating like fruit that I
Hmm.
wasn't supposed to be
Yeah.
eating,
Of course.
and I was like eating dates, bananas, things like that, and I think I had like a slice of pizza also, and then when I got back, I gained 9 pounds,
Yeah.
and I freaked.
Yeah.
And I freaked for like 30 seconds, I want to say,
Right.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, oh my God, I have to fast. I have to do this. I have to like starve myself. I have to, something to make myself go into ketosis and start burning again. And my husband looks at me and he's like, would you tell one of your followers or one of your friends to do that? And I said, no. He's like, what would you say? I said, I would say just get back into your routine. And I did, and it took me that week to just drop it. It just took me a couple of days to drop it, and then after that, I didn't get back on the scale. I was like, okay, I did my part. I'm not jumping back until like a month from now.
Right, and that's probably the best thing to do. I think people in, say, any weight loss journey or whatever journey they're on, whether they're trying to put on muscle or they're trying to lose weight, if things start to go downhill, it usually ends up spiraling. So they'll have one bad trip or one bad weekend. Maybe it's a friend's birthday, and like they eat something they're not supposed to, but it's not the end of the world. And then they'll step on the scale, or they'll feel a little bit bloated, and that leads to them feeling either guilty and going on the side of maybe I should just keep eating poorly, and they spiral out of
Yeah.
control. Or they take an extreme measure on the other side where they're like, let me just not eat anything. And they take themselves into this guilt trip where at that point
Yep.
it's not healthy and it's not natural. And I'm sure, you experience as well.
I've gone through that my whole life. Like every time I tried to do a diet and I would get excited that I lost 20, even when I was losing weight. Like if I would lose 20 pounds, I would get so excited that I would reward myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would like spiral out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the opposite end, if I didn't lose or if I didn't hit what I wanted, I would spiral out of control either way.
Yeah.
So, it is really hard, especially for a girl, because we have these high expectations and it's really hard for us to lose weight. Not like guys, you guys burn it off super quick and are lucky, but we have a lot of issues that we have to, try to control and maneuver. But that's kind of what happened to me. And differently this time when I started kickboxing, it was a 6-week challenge actually that got me started on keto because I went on a trip with my husband, and that trip, we were in like the business class, so those seats are wider, so I was like, okay, great. Well, no, it wasn't that great. The seat was still too small for me. The tray was like butting up to my stomach, and it was super uncomfortable and embarrassing. And I would look over at his seat, and he had all this space between him and the tray, and I'm like, whoa. So not only that, but I was very tired during the whole trip. It was not a comfortable feeling. So whenever we were flying back, I said, I can't live like this. I need to do something. As soon as I get home, I'm going to start researching and see what I can do. So I found this 6-week program on here locally and at one of my gyms, the one that I'm going to now. And they had a very strict diet that I had to follow, and they guaranteed results in 6 weeks, and I was on board and I was committed. So 6 weeks of the exact, like to the T diet that they had for me, and the exercise that they wanted me to do, everything down to a T. I could not do a crunch to save my life. I could not do a push-up.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I swear. I was like, I could not lift my chest off the ground. I was like, there's no way. Not even on my knees. I couldn't do none of that. But, I still gave it my all. And I said, I'm committed to these 6 weeks. I'm going to get it done. During those 6 weeks, a girl at the gym tells me, you should try keto. And every time I saw her, you should try keto. You should do keto. And I'm like, what is she talking about?
Yeah.
I had never heard of it, But I would hear her talk about it, and I was just kind of like, okay, well, girl, why are you talking about this if we're trying to do this paleo journey here on this 6-week challenge? And when the 6 weeks were up, we went in to measure and weigh, and I had lost like 7 pounds only, because I had set an expectation of 20 pounds. It's a realistic goal when you're really heavy,
right,
for 6 weeks. It's a realistic goal.
Of course.
So when I weighed, I had only lost like 7 pounds. And I hadn't lost like any inches, like maybe like half an inch on my waist. It was, to me, it wasn't enough. It wasn't what I expected.
Right.
So I remember I got mad, and instead of spiraling out of control, I don't know what happened that I took control for the first time. And I went and I told her, okay, what is this keto thing you're talking about? This is it. Like, this is the last thing I'm going to try. I'm tired, So she told me that, what it entailed. Like, well, it's a high fat, low carb lifestyle and moderate protein. I was like, okay, well, what do I eat? And she's like, well, I can't tell you what to eat. Like, you have to do your research. I was like, no, just give me your menu. That's the main question that everybody asks.
Yeah.
Well, what do you eat? Give me a list of items. And she said, no, you really do have to do your research. She gave me a couple of websites to check on, and like I said, for the first time, I took control. And I actually did my research. I actually, did what I had to do. And then I made a promise to myself. And I said, you know what? This is it. 1 year. Just give yourself 1 year. No cheats, no breaks. Stick to the gym. I know you hate it, but you're still going to keep going. And I did. I literally set an appointment with myself every single day to go to the gym. Sometimes I would go twice a day. And and to eat and to measure and track everything. I measured and tracked every single thing that went in my body. And it was just one of those things that, you know, I had to do it. I had to do it. And I don't know how I did it. I still don't know how. A lot of people ask me and I seriously don't know the answer to that. It just I just did it.
Yeah,
That's all that I know.
it, it sounds like it's exactly taking control of your life and your actions. People who are in the same situation you were in, if they're overweight and unhappy, typically they think that there's some external force that's keeping them in that position, right? Like life is doing this to me, or my family and friends are doing this to me, or something happened, or I'm unlucky. But clearly it clicked for you that moment that you took control and you're like, well, everything I do is in my hands, my
Yeah.
actions, the outcomes. It's all controlled by me. And
Hmm.
when you started going to the gym and eating well, I'm sure that kind of fueled how good you were feeling. Say
Yeah.
when you started keto, you probably started to feel better, you started to feel more energetic, and that probably led to you wanting to stick to it even more.
Right. And then another thing that happened at the same time was my daughter was like we had issues with her, she I know she's a little overweight and everything, and that's not an issue for us.
Hmm.
The issue was that the school sent a letter saying that she may be pre-diabetic, that we
Hmm.
should get her checked. So she opens this letter on the way home, and she gets home crying, and she's like, am I gonna die? Oh my God, oh my God. Like, she's thinking she's gonna die because she
Right.
read this letter. And I told her, no, everything's fine. I'm going to take you to the doctor. You're going to be fine. So we went to the doctor, drew some blood, got some blood work done. And it did turn out that she did have some issues. It wasn't prediabetes, but she had like a fatty liver. She had some other issues
Hmm.
going on. And the doctor actually suggested for her to go on paleo as well.
Hmm.
So it was at the same time that I was doing my transition, for the paleo. And when I transitioned over to keto, um, I got well, I don't know if that's healthy. I don't know, blah, 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 so I was like, okay, I'm going to do this myself. Later on, like when her doctor saw that I was getting results and that my blood work was coming out fine and everything, he looked a little more into it and he said, well, you might want to give it a try and see if this works for her. We have, and we've been monitoring her, hers as well as mine and my husband's, blood work and everything, and we're all doing great. So with her, I don't keep it as low, like I don't keep her carbs as low as I do mine. I allow her to have some fruits,
Hmm.
not all,
Yeah.
but I do allow her to have some other fruits and more options. But it is something that has really changed our whole life.
Hmm. Um, that's actually really cool because I think diabetes and the way that our school systems are structured in terms of snacks and all that
Mhm.
is really setting kids up for failure at a young age. The kinds of foods that they're used to eating, they're used to seeing their friends eating, and
Yeah.
all that they're provided, during their school days, it's not good for you. It's mostly
No.
processed, and a lot of it is just empty calories from whatever carbohydrates they might be. And you brought up
Yeah.
a really good point. I'm a big believer in paleo. I'm a big believer in keto. And, a lot of people will just say that, this is the only way, whether they're on the paleo side or the keto side, whatever approach they may take to eating. But I genuinely think that there is no one size fits all approach to eating.
No.
The main point of getting healthier is to cut out the stuff that you're not supposed to eat. So I believe in keto because it cuts out refined carbs and it
Yeah.
introduces healthy fats. Paleo is
Yeah.
a really similar diet. I can't knock either one. Both of them force
No.
you to eat better, be more conscious of what's going in your body, and to take control of your diet and not eat whatever is available.
That's right. Yeah. It's true. And so for her, I don't, she obviously doesn't eat at school anymore. I stopped her eating from at school that very same next day that I got that letter. I said, okay, well, we're gonna see what we're gonna do. And she packs her lunch, and I try to make it as cool as possible, so like she doesn't get she
Yeah,
doesn't get made fun of or anything like
of
that. And she
course.
doesn't. She actually her friends think that it's really cool because she'll take egg rolls. Like I'll make her egg rolls. I'll make her cookies. I'll make
That's
her all
awesome.
kinds of stuff. So I try to keep it interesting for her and for us as well. And my little one is starting to pick it up as well. She's obviously, she's smaller. She just turned 8 years old,
Hmm.
but now she's like more, I guess, conscious of what she's eating. So she's like, oh no, that's bad for you because it's got sugar, it's got this, it's got that. So she reads labels. It's so funny that she
Yeah,
reads the
that's actually
labels to see
amazing to grow up in
what's
a
in there.
health conscious environment. It's going to be really helpful for them for the rest of their lives because a lot of people don't pick those things up till later.
True. Yeah. No, I always tell them, I wish that my mom would have found something like this for me when I was your age because when I was growing up, I've been heavy my whole life. I've been overweight my whole life. And my mom would, she would cook us food at home. We're Mexican. So
Yeah,
like she would force us to eat
of
everything on the
course.
plate. She's like, you can't get up until you finish everything on the
Yeah,
plate. So even, she's like, well, I'm giving them vegetables. Well, yeah, mom, you're giving us vegetables mixed with rice. Now I see that issue, but obviously back then it was like, oh, she put peas in the rice, or she put this in the rice. And
yeah,
so we would have to eat all those carbs in order to get our vegetables in. She didn't know any better, obviously,
of
but
course.
I told my daughter all the time, I wish my mom would have found this. I think that this would have changed my life if we would have been eating this way from a long time ago. And I'm not just saying because of the weight. I'm not, because I've thankfully, yeah, I've always been overweight, but I've always been healthy. I guess I have good genes. I don't know, or good genetics. It just,
Yeah.
I'm a healthy person overall. But I wish that we would have been eating healthier because I did have a lot of dental issues. There's other issues that I had that probably wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have all that sugar and all that junk. Um, so I try to teach them that, but I think they're doing good on it.
That's good. That's amazing to hear, honestly. Good for you for implementing that. I know it must be hard as a parent because kids are naturally driven towards candy and they don't
Yeah.
want to be embarrassed having healthy snacks in front of their friends. But I think it's a shift in the culture. I think it's cool to eat healthy. It's cool to take care of yourself. And
Yeah.
I remember, when I was growing up, it was just find the best tasting thing that you could find and just eat that. So I remember for breakfast having cereal with a glass of orange juice and Pop
Hmm.
Tarts. Like in hindsight, you look at some of the meals that kids are having, and it's like 100 grams of sugar at 8 in the
Yeah.
morning, and you're wondering why they're maybe a little bit hyperactive in classrooms or they're crashing in the afternoons. I'm like, if
Yeah.
you give a grown adult that much sugar, they're probably gonna be passed out by noon.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely, yeah. Because I remember that feeling. And I mean, I went through that feeling, like I said, when I went to California, it was a roller coaster of energy
Yeah,
because I would eat something that I wasn't supposed to and feel awesome, and then oh my God, I'm gonna die.
yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, well I feel better now. Let me grab another couple of dates. Dates have a lot of sugar in them, and I love dates, but I just can't have them.
Yeah,
I learned that I can't overdo it. Like I was eating 3 or 4 of them at a time, and it was just making me feel
yeah.
horrible.
No, so I remember when I first started keto, I was actually doing my undergrad and I was studying to become a dentist at the time. So I devoted 100% of my time and energy into studying. I stopped going to the
Hmm.
gym and then I had a collarbone injury while I was snowboarding. So that led to me basically being almost completely physically inactive. I didn't really care about what I was eating because I wasn't active, and I just started to kind of spiral downhill. All I would do is study, and a few months went by. I found myself like 30, 40 pounds overweight, and I wasn't obese or anything, but I didn't feel good. My energy levels were down,
Yeah.
and it was at that time when nothing really was working, and I discovered keto, and to me it was like, really, like you can eat this stuff, and it's kind of like a stigma because you're so used to blaming fat for everything.
Yeah.
People have always convinced us that saturated fat is to blame, butter
Yeah.
will kill you, and coconut oil is not good for you. And then I was like, well, it's worked for that many people. I learned about it a little bit in some of my classrooms, and I was like, I'm gonna give this a try, and it literally changed my life because it provided you a means to feel full, get
Yeah.
energy, and lose weight without really feeling like you were depriving yourself.
Yeah. And I don't know if this happened to you. It happened to me, and I've talked to other people that they say the same thing. But I am a carboholic. I mean, I love anything that has to do with sweet breads, any candy, any of that stuff. And for some reason now I don't crave it. It really did help me control those cravings. And I don't understand how or why it does, but it does. I don't like if I have a box of donuts in front of me, I'm fine. I'm okay. I'm not I'm like, oh my God, I need it, or anything
Mm,
like that. And that would have never happened to me before. I mean, if I saw a box of donuts, I would have eaten every last
yeah,
donut.
yeah,
So, but now I see it and I'm fine with it. I can smell it. I know we went to eat a couple of days ago and for my dad's birthday, and at the restaurant they serve you like those rolls, those warm rolls,
yeah,
And I love those things. So I grabbed one and I just smelled it and I was like, oh, it smells so good. And I put it down and now it's fine.
yeah,
And my dad said, you're not gonna have one? No, Dad, I'm not gonna have one.
yeah. And I think,
I'm not gonna have one. I still enjoy the smell of it,
of
but I'm not
course,
gonna eat
but
it.
that feeling you get when you're in control and your body feels good and you feel healthy physically and mentally, it far exceeds any short-term feeling you would get from eating something like processed junk. And I get it. Sugar is addicting. Like, it really is an addiction. I would
It
put it
is.
up there with smoking or drugs in general. Like, when your body doesn't have it and you're used to having it, you start to get headaches, you start to get nauseous.
Yeah.
Those sugar crashes are real.
Yes, they
Yeah.
are. Yes, they are. I'm just really happy that it has helped me a whole lot with that. It has helped me with my binging. It's helped me in so many ways. That I always tell people just give it an honest try. Not like oh, I'm gonna try it in between the week and on the weekend I'm gonna have what I want. No, give it an honest 30-day try. And if you're not convinced at the end of those 30 days, then go back to what you were doing, or go back to what you want to do. I was just talking about that this morning with two ladies in my kickboxing class, and because like they've seen me throughout this past year, and they're like, I haven't lost any weight, and I feel like people put that expectation on me whenever I'm showing, I go to kickboxing and I'm working out diligently. They put that expectation like, hey, well, aren't you in kickboxing? Like, why aren't you losing weight, And I was talking to them about this. I was like, well, it's not all kickboxing. You really have to watch what you're eating as well. It's like 80% of, like they say, 80% of it is diet and 20% is exercise. Um, so they're like, yeah, but that keto diet you talk about is so hard. I'm like, it's really not that hard. It's really not. It's super simple. And so she was talking about how she cut off sugars, and I was like, okay, well, what do you eat? And she was telling me, well, I eat oatmeal in the morning, and I put and I put honey in it, and I put down like, yeah, all that you just said, all of that is not keto. So I'm
Yeah.
like, that's actually not that great for you.
Yeah.
Um, and she's like, well, I really want to give it a try. So how do I get started? And they kind of want to set up like a little uh, info meeting, on how to do it. And I'm up for it because I really do want, I want people to achieve their goals. I want people to experience this because I've never felt this good. I've never felt this, free, because it is a very freeing feeling to not be tied to sugar or junk food or candy.
Hmm.
It feels so
Totally.
good
Totally.
to be able to go anywhere and pick your food, because I always say, you could take me anywhere and I will find something to eat,
Yeah.
something keto to
Of
eat.
course. That's awesome. During that year, because 100 pounds is a lot. I don't think a lot of people understand the significance of 100 pounds. Like, if you pick up a 100-pound dumbbell, it's really heavy. And
Yeah.
you were able to lose that in a year. Were there points where, you struggled mentally with, let's say you plateaued or you weren't seeing results, or maybe you just thought, I'd be better off like not following through with this right now?
No, actually, I didn't. Like I said, when I started this, I said 1 year. Even if I lose 5 pounds or if I lose 50 pounds or whatever I lose, 1 year. I really stuck to that. I didn't focus on, for the first time, I didn't focus on how much I was losing at a certain set of time. I was just focusing on getting to that 1 year mark. I just wanted to get to that 1 year mark, you know? And I did have a list of goals that I wanted to reach. They were fantasy goals,
Yeah.
in my opinion. It was like something that, oh, I wish that I was this size again, or I wish that I would get squeeze back into my wedding dress. And then like my ultimate goal was to lose 100 pounds in a year. Um, to me, that was a fantasy. It was just a crazy idea that I threw out there. 101, 101 year. That was like something, a crazy idea for me. And then I had 3 bonus goals. And so I was like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. But nothing was going to come in my way between me and that 365 days. It was just me and this goal. And yeah, I would plateau. And I think the only time that I was kind of like, oh man, is this worth it? Was when my hair started falling out.
Yeah.
So I didn't know any better. I didn't know about collagen peptides. I didn't know about all this stuff because nobody explained it to me. And I was just going based off of my own research, you know? So I would read. When something would happen to me, I would Google and I'm like, okay, this is happening to me. Is it related to the diet, you know? So I would Google and then come to find out that the hair loss was because I wasn't taking any precaution. I wasn't taking any vitamins, any of that stuff. So then I started taking vitamins and, incorporating that into my diet, and it balanced everything out. So the only time that I ever doubted was when my hair fell out, and I still kept going.
Right.
I was like, I'm not gonna stop. 1 year, bald or however we get there, we're gonna get there.
That's
So
awesome. I really admire that level of dedication. It says a lot about you, just as a person and your character in general. And just a disclaimer for women that are listening or watching this: drastic weight loss, will lead to changes in your menstrual cycle, and
yeah,
it could lead to hair loss. It's just a natural process of weight loss. However you're doing it, it's bound to happen. It kind of throws a lot of your body's processes out of whack. So huge disclaimer, don't be discouraged. Just make sure that you're supplementing with collagen peptides and biotin and things like that.
your vitamins, yeah.
Yeah. And so,
And
yeah.
it's funny that you mentioned the menstrual cycle because it does. Um, in my opinion, it adjusted everything out. It shortened the period of time. Everything was on track. And I told one of my friends about this. She does not need to lose weight. She is like 5 feet tall and she weighs 100 pounds. She's teeny tiny. She's very petite, but she always has issues with that. And I told her, like I found that this helped me out with, the keto helped me out with the menstrual cycle and everything. So why don't you try it? And she did. And she was like, I am amazed at how regular I am now. Like it's like clockwork, So she tried it out for 6 months and she never went back. She's like, I'm dedicated to this. Obviously her, her calorie intake is a lot different than mine. She's not in it to lose weight or anything like that. Now she's in it for her health, basically.
That's amazing. So going back to your journey, a big thing for us, our motto has always been, to stay focused and be consistent. I think that staying focused on your goals and being consistent with them over a long period of time is exactly how you can accomplish basically anything. And it sounds like you did exactly just that, because, when you were just talking about staying focused through that 1 year, and a year is enough, that's a lot of time spent being consistent towards your actions. Just one more thing. You briefly talked at the beginning about the stair remodeling business that you have with your husband. Can you, give a little bit of insight about how your transformation or your journey helped you with your business, if it did in any way?
Yeah, I used to go to homes to do estimates, like in-home estimates, and meet my clients in person and all of that. And you have to go up and down the stairs. You just have to. I mean,
Yeah.
you're there to do a stair project. You have to inspect every little section of stairs and everything. And I actually have a video on our website from January of last year, and I was at maximum weight, 256 pounds. And now I told my husband I need to redo that video because like now people show up and they're like, oh, is that your sister in the video? And I'm like, no, that's me.
That's unbelievable. Honestly, it sounds like your life totally turned around. And to wrap things up, what's one piece of advice you would give to someone who is maybe nervous to start, or has thought about starting, or has started but given up on themselves? What piece of advice would you give to people?
Um, it's the same thing that I always tell people is because everybody wants the key, the key to this weight loss, or the key to health, or the key. And I always reference this. You know, we all have the key. It's just the house, right? So you can't give up on yourself because what works for me may not work for you, or the next person. You really do have to commit to yourself. That's the only way that you're going to get it done, is when commit to yourself, like we were talking about. I know it's hard because a lot of people, they'll say like, well, how do you do that? Or how do you stay motivated? And you're your motivation. Like, there's nobody else on this planet can motivate you but you.
Absolutely.
I hate going to the gym. Everybody thinks that I love it. I hate it. I still to this day can't get used to it. And it's a drag for me every single day.
Yeah.
But you just have to be dedicated to yourself. I mean, you're the only one that can take care of you. Nobody can come in and say, "Hey, like, let me do this for you." I wish somebody could work out for me and lose burn my calories off.
Yeah.
But no, you're the only one that can do it for yourself. So dedication, discipline, commitment. Those are like key important things for this to be successful.
That's awesome. So just to sum it up, as you said, that discipline, commitment, and dedication. My piece of advice for anyone who wants to start, whether you're starting with keto or paleo or cutting out sugar, is to just start, work hard, and accept that your journey is unique. So don't be discouraged by what other people are accomplishing. Focus on yourself, and just keep going, for sure. Whether you're following our program or someone else's program, just do it and keep going.
Exactly. Just keep going. And always have fun with it. Even if you hate it, just have fun with it, and enjoy yourself. But like you said, always know who you are first, and accept yourself for who you are. It's okay. Like, hey, you can't do a push-up. It's fine. Let's see how many push-ups you can do in a week, or how many you can do in a month.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I love it. I couldn't
you keep
agree more.
moving. You keep moving. You're gonna get there.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. This was a blast talking to you and just getting some insight onto your journey and the way that you approach things. Where to find you if they want to connect with you?
You can find me on Instagram, known as The Stair Lady. You can also find me on YouTube now, same The Stair Lady. So I think that's just the name that stuck with me, thanks to my clients. They're the ones that started calling me that.
That's awesome. So. And just let everyone know, in case they're in your area, the name of your business and where you guys are located in.
Sure. Our business is called Houston Stair Parts. We are in Houston, Texas. And we do have online stores as well. So if you want to check out, or if you need any stair parts for your home or business, you can go to affordablestairparts.com.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys. Again, I'm Mario Fazeli. If you want to find us, we're at www.ketovation.com. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Ketovation. So thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.